My name is Jasmine Krotkov. I live in Nyhart, Montana, which has a population of about 35. Much of Montana is made up of small towns. Our whole state is like one smallish city with really, really long streets. Along those streets, we've got 283,857 low-income people registered to vote, and they accounted for 38% of total votes cast in the last election. There are seven Indian reservations in Montana, and rural reservations are the most isolated voter locations in Montana. The distance to travel to register and vote, limited mail routes, disproportionately high levels of poverty on reservations, and digital divide issues isolate Native Americans from participating in the political process. To overcome these barriers, many rely on same-day voter registration so they can make just one trip to the polling center to register and vote on the same day. Native Americans living on reservations disproportionately rely on same-day registration, especially voters on the Blackfeet Nation reservation in Northwest Montana. In our most recent legislative session, a number of bills passed into law that directly targeted the voting rights of Native Americans. Two of those new laws, one to end same-day voter registration, and the other to block organized ballot collection on rural reservations, are now being challenged in court as unconstitutional. Other new laws make it harder for other low-income voters in Montana too. Now we need a photo ID to vote. And every year we have to return a postcard verifying that we still want to vote. Housing costs are skyrocketing here, so many people will be forced to move or into homelessness, which obviously makes it a lot harder to manage all the new paperwork required to vote. So with 38% of our voters being low income, these laws mean that the richest among us will get to decide which future policies become law. It seems like a never-ending cycle, but the Montana Poor People's Campaign is up to the challenge. The sleeping giant of low-income voters in Montana will surely wake up this June when we march on Washington. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you there. Thank you.
We welcome you to the launch of the Mass Poor People's Low-Wage Assembly and Moral March on Washington, D.C., June 18, 2022.
And we need to do it with the biggest actions possible.
Because we know the only scarcity is the moral will to do what's right.
Veterans across this nation say enough is enough.
My voice is just as valuable as anyone else's.
We need the third Reconstruction.
We have an immoral system run by immoral people.
But together we fight.
And we become an agent of change.
We're rising up to demonstrate the compelling power that we, poor and low-income people, have to reconstruct society from the bottom up.
It's time for a change!
We are people of resilience.